you've got untold trillions of stars and galaxies, and it's a little egotistical to think we're the only intelligent life on Earth, in the universe. But this what you're talking about, these super soldiers, you got a problem. You create a super soldier. What if he goes against you? What if he turns against the whole global government thing? If this thing is being organized by a global government to suppress us, or to suppress the countries that don't want to go along with us, they've already had a program and I've interviewed and been friends with people that have gone through the MK Ultra program. Now,
Right.
if you can control their mind, then you don't care how strong they get. You don't care how sharp they are. You don't care how they're not a danger anymore. They're just a weapon pointed in the right direction.
Right. Well, you're absolutely right. In fact, related to the development to what's actually happening now, I think it actually goes back, at least more than a decade, probably 2 decades. In fact, unknown to most Americans was a series of hushed events following the sacking of Admiral John Poindexter. Remember him? He served as the director of DARPA Information Awareness Office from 2002 to 2003.
Yes.
Um, and during a series of flaps that led to his sacking, the Senate Appropriations Committee started looking into how money was flowing into DARPA and what it was being used for, and they were absolutely shocked. They found stuff in there that was under the title time reversal methods in the special focus area. They never was able to figure out what the heck that was even supposed to mean, but what they did find was they found unstoppable super soldier technology already on the blueprint, enhanced warriors with extra human physiological, and cognitive abilities that even allowed for communication by thought alone, already on the drawing board over a decade ago. In fact, Professor Joel Goru, who was an investigative journalist at that time at the Washington Post, it took him more than 2 years to get anything more than an official no comment from DARPA, and finally he was able to go into DARPA and sit down with one of their spokespeople, and they showed him some of the lines in the old budget that have then been zeroed out by the Senate Appropriations Committee that literally involved the creation of a master race of superhumans. Joe Goru documented this in his book, Radical Evolution, which became a bestseller. It's one of the best books out there on this subject matter. But in any case, what he found, though, was that even a year after the Senate Appropriations Committee had zeroed out these line item budgets, DARPA had as many or more advanced projects having to do with enhanced and super soldier technology, but what they had done is they just got smarter about how to hide it. So they were calling these things, names that didn't even appear to have anything to do with super soldier technology, and they were still funneling the money into it. And what he found out was nothing had stopped. In fact, he said there were already programs in the pipeline that were as bolder than any of those the Senate Appropriations Committee had zeroed out. Well, look, this year, the 2011 presidential budget for DARPA includes millions of dollars for editing a soldier's DNA, for genetically altering humans. This is in the budget. We photocopied the pages out of the 2011 presidential budget, and we put it in the book, Forbidden Gate. Furthermore, the same budget provides millions of dollars for the creation of something called bio-design. Now, you mentioned a moment ago, if you create these things, and then what if they turn on you, then what's going to happen? Well, that's exactly, even in DARPA's own language in the budget for bio-design, which is it's a mysterious artificial life project with military applications. Wired magazine called it living, breathing creatures, militarized living creatures. And what they're trying to do with them is make them unstoppable. They're trying to somehow circumvent, cellular death. But they also admit that if these things get out of control and turned on us, they could be a lethal force, and therefore they want some kind of a kill switch put into this creation so that if the thing gets out of control or gets captured by our enemies and then they try to use it against us, whatever the heck it is, they want to be able to throw some kind of a radio signal or something and have the thing shut down.
That's now what you just described here is what my friend Aaron Russo described in when he talked to Nicholas Rockefeller about what do you want? What you've got all the money, you got all the power, you know, all right already. What else do you want? They want the whole population chipped. They want the bank accounts linked to this chip, and if you don't do what you're supposed to, all they got to do is turn off your chip, and you won't be able to buy or sell. And they've also mentioned the possibility that these little RFID chips might just be able to blow up and kill you if you really got out of line.
Well, what I know is that and I'm familiar with Russo too, by the way, is that it just this year, May the 24th of this year, there was a whole wide range of experts from the military, from the private sector, from academia, and they gathered in Washington, D.C. for a conference titled Warring Futures, a future tense event, how biotech and robotics are transforming today's military and how that will change the rest of us. And what this whole conference was about, and by the way, once again, if somebody wants to Google what I just said, they can go there and find the conference. They even watch the military blast standing up giving their lectures about it on video. It was all about how human enhancement and related technologies are very quickly this decade going to become a battleground reality. But how that's going to be, that this emerging battlefield strategy is going to inevitably migrate into the broader culture, and what that will mean for the future of humanity as we know it. So, if you have brain-machine interfaced soldiers operating on the battlefield, what they're saying is it's going to start there, we're going to perfect the science, and then it's going to move into the domestic reality. And IBM is already, on their own website, they are already publicly stating that they want their brain chips in every human by the year 2020. That's on IBM's own website. They want to, in fact, what they're saying is this is going to be the next big thing. The next big, how the internet essentially changed the way we live our lives, and now we've got email and we've got the information highway. They're saying the next big thing is going to be brain interfacing, not just with soldiers and some experimental situations, but everybody is going to be integrated with the grid, and then you'll control everything just with your brain waves alone.
Now, I have heard all this. As a matter of fact, I've written about this 40 years ago, and I'm doing the rewrite now because I got a lot more knowledge than I had 40 years ago. But my character that I created was bred like this and trained like this, and he had extrasensory perception. He could read minds. He could actually levitate, and so this is beyond science fiction now. I mean, this is happening now, and the movies that you're talking about, we've got the one about the giant blue aliens on another planet, but those enhanced suits given these soldiers, basically superpower, are depicted in this in that movie, Avatar.
Yeah, Avatar, and Avatar was a very pro-transhumanist depiction. In fact, the Na'vi, the blue aliens, you notice how the end of their tail is like a USB port or their ponytail, and they can plug it into other living creatures and stuff and get interconnected with them. It's all very much kind of a public information, and it's not disinformation, towards a coming revolution that is going to ultimately lead to remanufacturing mankind. This has already happened, by the way, in thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of laboratories in every major country of the world. It's happening here in the United States, in Austria, China, where at the embryonic level we are already creating human-animal chimeras. This is one of the most openly hidden facts, if you will. There was a Reuters news article about this just recently called Scientists Want Debate on Animals with Human Genes. And they